자, 여러분과 이제 성경의 복음을
Starting from this video, I'd like to explain the Gospel of the Bible in depth in a more profound way.
우리는 지난 시간 동안에
In our previous videos, we are able to confirm through the scriptures that the definition of the Gospel is that Jesus is the Christ. Now we are going to explore what is the meaning of Jesus being the Christ, and here is how I'm going to proceed. First of all, I'm going to explain the Christ, the meaning of the Christ, and what Jesus has done. Then I will continue with why Jesus is the Christ, and then finally the overall meaning of the gospel that Jesus is the Christ. Therefore, through explaining the Christ and the works done by Jesus, I will elucidate what it means that Jesus is the Christ. Afterwards, I will define the faith of believing Jesus as a Christ. To do that, we first need to understand about the Christ. For us to understand the Christ, we need to understand the reason why Christ came to the world, why the Father sent the Christ to us. It is because He wanted to rescue us and to give us salvation. In other words, to understand why the Christ had to come to the earth, we need to understand what problems the humanity has, from where we need to be saved. For us to understand the problem of mankind, we need to know the original man created by God in the beginning. When we clearly understand the original state of mankind, we'll be able to understand the current state and problems in comparison, and that we need the Christ who can solve this. In the upcoming videos, I will talk about what kind of being the human originally was, and how the Bible describes them, and what kind of problem that they're in. Afterwards, I will introduce the meaning of the Christ and define the roles of the Christ, what he is supposed to do when He comes. So that's what I'm going to talk about in the upcoming videos. When God created us, He created the mankind in His own image. In fact, it's such a surprising description. I have 4 children. All 4 of them all look like me. The children resemble their father, and that you can see their father through them. The children has reflection of their father. It's surprisingly mysterious. When we say that we're created in the image of God, we might focus on what kind of blessings we received or what kind of characteristics we have. However, when we are created in the image of God, more than any other characteristics we might have, the greatest blessing is that is the inseparable and intimate relationship that we had with God. That comes before any other good things. We are connected to God and we are within God. That was the greatest blessing. Moreover, mankind having the image of God means that you may see God through the man. Can you imagine? It's not something too complicated. Mankind, in fact, was the being that can reveal God. In a nutshell, when you say that the mankind was created in the image of God, and therefore we have these characteristics and those attributes and abilities, they're all good. It makes sense. However, what's most valuable is that from the very beginning we were made as the children of God, and we're supposed to reveal God, and we were connected to God in an inseparable way. We were in the Father, and the Father was in us. It was this amazing state that we were created. This was the greatest blessing that we received. God is goodness. God is life. God is the source of all the blessings. God is everything of all things. We are connected to Him. We are in Him. That's the primary things we can understand when it comes to the original mankind being created in the image of God. Now, let's talk more about the attributes of the mankind created in the image of God. Let's first look more into it. Firstly, I've mentioned about this earlier already, but in Genesis chapter 5:3 it says, when Adam had lived 130 years, he had a son in his own likeness, in his own image, and he named him Seth.
아담이 셋을 낳고
If you relate the verse to Genesis chapter 1, verse 26 through 28, it says, God created mankind in our image
아담을 만들 때
and in our likeness. Adam had a son in his own likeness and his own image and named him Seth. This is identically found in Genesis chapter 1, where it says God created Adam in God's image and likeness. That means God didn't create the mankind as an imitation that just looked like God, but God created us as His children. That's the main focus. You can find the genealogies in Matthew and Luke, and they're different in many ways. Especially the genealogy of Matthew traces lineage from the ancestors to Jesus, while that of the Luke begins with Jesus and progresses backward. Matthew's account follows the lineage of Joseph, while Luke's genealogy is that of Mary. When you look at Luke chapter 3, it traces back who's above Joseph, who's above Jacob. Jacob is the son of Isaac, who is the son of Abraham. And the last name appeared on the genealogy is not Adam. As it goes up, as it traces back, it appears like this: the son of Adam, the son of God. That's why it ends. That's how it ends. What does it mean? When God first created Adam, He created Adam as His child. When we say that we were created in the image of God, that includes numerous blessings, but the highest blessing is that we were created as the children of God, and being His children, we were to reveal God. We are to reflect God with His image in us. At the same time, the children were connected to God in a very intimate way. We are attached to God, who is the source of all goodness, the source of all blessings, the source of everything. This is the greatest blessing that the mankind received. Of course, there is much more to being created in the God's image. I'd like to share more through the next videos.